Okay, so this video is in response to a couple of videos that I saw off of Real Cans TV. Shout out to Real Cans TV. I've been subscribed to him since last year, and his videos has helped me through some dark times that I went through last year and parts of this year, as a matter of fact. And so, really, I'm compelled to make this video, even though I haven't made any in a long time, because I've been real busy working at the post office delivering packages in the past couple of months, since April, as a matter of fact. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video in order to encourage Kens as he goes through his trial that's going to take place on Wednesday. Hopefully it won't be a trial on Wednesday, because today he has to go to a status hearing, and hopefully at the status hearing they'll drop his case, just like they did mine. So, I just wanted to. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about my experiences going through somebody charging me with a misdemeanor. Actually, it happened to me 2 times. And so before I go into that, I just want to sort of give you a little update as far as what's been going on with me. So back in March, my case, which was for criminal mischief, got dropped. My lawyer was able to talk to the DA, and the DA was willing to drop my case in return for me paying restitution, which was $350 for that guy's windshield being busted on my property, even though I wasn't there. I wasn't the one who busted his windshield. It just happened to be on my property. So anyway, my lawyer was able to talk to the DA, and they agreed to get my case dismissed in return for me paying $350. But I had to do it quickly before they scheduled my next court date. And so I went ahead and did that and paid that guy, and my case got dropped. The only reason why I did that was because I had already gotten back on with the post office. I was in orientation, and so I wouldn't have time to. I wouldn't want to have taken a day off to go to my trial, because my attorney had told me that it could go both ways. Really, it's even though I'm pleading innocent, and I'm insisting that I wasn't there, which I wasn't when that guy's windshield got broken. They did take my bat, which was a used bat that I bought from a thrift store, and they were trying to use that as evidence against me. They're trying to say that it had scratches on it and stuff. So people were the deputies were trying to plant evidence on me, as far as just to try to get a conviction out of me. And I was not, just like I told that lawyer, I'm not going to give these people a conviction after how they treated me, because the cops are not your friend at all. All they're looking for is to put you in jail and get a conviction out of you. That's what I've learned. That's why I don't trust cops these days. So anyway, so the case got dropped, and since then I've just been working. I've been working hard at the post office delivering packages in order to recover from having to pay for my legal bills. I had paid $1,500 for a lawyer, and I also had to pay $250 to bail out of jail, and and plus $350 in order to make my case go away, get it dropped with no conviction on my record. I didn't have to plead guilty or anything. It just got dropped, and so I'm glad that happened, and so I can move on with my life. And so anyway, ever since then I just been working real hard at the post office, and I just never had time to make videos to post on YouTube or anywhere else. I've been doing a few shorts here and there, but I just been too tired. I'm just trying to work hard to recover in order to pay off debts that I took out in order to fight for my freedom. So anyway, so for those of you who don't know, I've been watching Kens for over a year now, and recently Kens had been accused of the same type of crime that I was accused of last year, which was criminal mischief. Basically, he got into it with somebody at a convenience store. The guy was trying to put his foot over Ken's $50 bill that he had dropped on the ground, I guess to try to steal from him. And Kens was trying to fight. He wasn't trying to fight. He was just trying to let the guy know that that's his money. You know, he needs to take his foot off his money. And so things escalated from there. And the police was called, and that guy who had put his foot on Kens's money insisted that the cops arrest him for being belligerent and whatnot, you know. And so they believed that guy over Kens, and they arrested him. I mean, it's the same thing that happened to me years ago, basically. And so right now, Kens is going through trial court dates and stuff, and status hearings, and the judge is trying to pressure him to take plea deals. And you know, Kens is not trying to do that. Kens is trying to fight for his innocence, as he should. He should not give them a conviction just because they want him to, you know. So that's why I've been encouraging Kens to never ever give them a conviction, to fight for his innocence all the way to the bitter end if need be, because that's what I had planned on doing myself. That's why I had gotten me a lawyer, so that I could fight to the bitter end and take it to the Supreme Court if necessary, because there was too much reasonable doubt in my case. And so anyway, I just wanted to share two of my experiences with that are similar to what Kens is going through right now with this case. So this happened back in 2009, way back. I was in Washington, D.C. at the time. I was going through some hard times myself, you know, with the Great Recession and all. And so one day, it was at night actually. So I was gonna go to Harris Teeter to get a snack. I walked by one of the employees that was standing outside, and he started cussing at me and stuff for whatever reason. I had seen him in the store before, and he was always mean towards me for whatever reason. I just didn't like him because, you know, he was always rude towards me. And anyway, so he started cursing at me and stuff. He was standing with his girlfriend trying to look all big and bad, and I just cursed him back. And as I walked away to go inside the store, he ran up behind me and sucker punched me. I turned around and fought back and knocked him down on the ground. And so the police was called, and everybody that was there said that I started the fight, including his girlfriend. They said that I was the aggressor. And so the police themselves told me that since everybody was saying that I was the aggressor, they had to arrest me. And so I got arrested that night. I spent the night in jail. It was horrible. You know, jail cell smelled like piss. Some Hispanics were mopping the floors outside the jail. They were using bleach and stuff, and it was horrible. I was having to endure the smell of bleach and piss. And so anyway, the next day I got moved from a jail cell to the bullpen. Now this jail cell that I was in, it was actually underneath the courthouse. From what I understand, this was the very same location that back in the day they used to hold enslaved black people. You know, and so yeah, it was horrible. So anyway, the next day I was moved from there to the bullpen to await my trial, to await my well, not a trial, but it was like a hearing to see whether I could see what my bond would be. And so I waited almost all day until that evening. I finally went before a judge, and they told me that I could leave out on my own recognizance, but I had to come back to court within the next I guess they didn't make a date, but they said I had to come back to court once they scheduled my trial date. And so during that time I was appointed a public defender, which so happened to be a private lawyer, because in Washington D.C. a lot of people who are public defenders, they're actually private attorneys who were willing to also act as public defenders, since there wasn't enough public defenders at the courthouse to represent everybody. And so I was appointed a private attorney as a representation, which was good, because I've had a bad experience with a public defender before, which I'll talk about in another video. And so anyway, I scheduled an appointment to talk to that attorney, and I explained to the attorney that they should get the video footage of what happened. It will just have them dismiss my case. That attorney didn't believe me at first, but I insisted that they get the tape from that store, which was Harris Teeter, off of Pennsylvania Avenue, I think it was in Southeast DC. But anyway, so eventually he went ahead and got footage from the store, and he showed it to the prosecutor. And I think about maybe a couple weeks later, they dropped my case. And so, fortunately, that attorney also had a partner. His partner his partner actually did cases which involved lawsuits, civil cases. And so that attorney was willing to go to bat for me as far as suing Harris Teeter for falsely getting me arrested for lying on me, basically. And so he got footage. He got the footage, and he went back and sent Harris Teeter a demand letter, saying that they need to pay for damages that was caused by getting me wrongfully arrested. Because that video footage showed that it was employees that employee who initiated the fight, basically. So anyway, that employee got fired. And so this particular civil case didn't go to trial, because about a few months later we ended up settling for $15,000, which which my attorney got 35% of, and that was that for that case in Washington D.C. And so my recent case, which started last year in July, involved this guy who was on my property, who wasn't welcome there. He was trying to get the person who I was trying to evict to squat there. And so, I was in the process of trying to evict that person so that he couldn't come back as well, because he was at that person's guest. So that it was an older guy too. His name is Frederick, by the way, Frederick Nichols. So I'm just gonna put his real name out there. So basically, today is July 1st, so it would have been almost a year ago, exactly when it happened, back in July of 8th of last year. Frederick Nichols had come back on my property where his truck was parked at, and found that his truck windshield was busted out. And so he called the sheriff deputies, and he told them that it was probably me, because he said that I had threatened him with a bat before, So that's why he figured that it was probably me. Now, I I do admit I did threaten this guy with a bat before, when he was on my property, when he came at me as I was checking on the water meter that was on my property. He did come at me, and I went to my car and got my bat out and told him to back off. So that I did threaten him with a bat. So that's why he tried to say that I busted his windshield with my bat. And so so deputies came out to my house. I had no idea that that had happened until the deputies came out. And so anyway, that deputy tried to say that witnesses saw me bust the windshield off that guy's truck, and so he wanted to he said he wanted me to give him my side of what happened and stuff. You know, I told him that, you know, I wasn't even there, and that sheriff deputy kept trying to say, come on now, we know you did it, you know. We just want to get your side of the story. We just want you to tell us what happened, you know. And so we're not gonna take you to jail or anything like that. So, you know, we just want to get your side of sort of what happened. And that guy's gonna, and if you do that, then Frederick Nichols is gonna keep it as a civil case instead of it being a criminal case. So as that deputy was talking to me, I just kept hearing Ken's voice from when I was watching this video, telling me, don't trust this deputy. Don't talk to this deputy. Ask for an attorney. I just kept hearing Ken's voice in my ear, telling me not to trust that deputy. And so I did not tell that deputy what he wanted to hear. I did not tell him that I did it. And that deputy asked for my bat. And so I didn't notice I didn't notice. And so I didn't know that I didn't know about this. I didn't think anything of it. So I went to my car and got the bat. And because I didn't bust that guy's truck window with my bat. And so I got the bat, and he looked at it. He said, "Look, there are scratches on there that look like you had hit that window off on that guy's truck." And I kept telling him, "No, that's not it. That bat was used. I bought it from the thrift store years ago." And so that deputy kept trying to get me to confess to busting that guy's windshield. I never would confess to that, because, like I said, you know, once I knew that if I confessed, that would be an easy conviction for them to have, and that would affect my future. I didn't want my future to be affected with a conviction on my record here in Texas. So, no, of course not. I'm not gonna confess to anything. And based on my prior dealings with cops in the past, I knew not to trust them. You know, I knew that they're not my friend. They're not my friends. They're not people. They're not to be trusted. So I never confessed to him. I didn't give him what I wanted. I did not give him what he wanted out of me, which was a confession, so that he can get an easy conviction. So no, I wasn't gonna do that. So anyway, that deputy said, "Well, I'm taking the bat." And so I asked him why, because I mean, I didn't bust that guy's windshield with my bat. He said, "Well, I'm taking the bat. Since she said she won't confess, say she won't tell me what I want to hear. I'll just take the bat then." And so he took my bat, and he actually placed it on the front grill of his patrol truck, which sort of he sort of messed the evidence up himself by placing it on the grill of his patrol truck, putting more scratches on it. So I suspect he was trying to plant evidence on me. So after that he left, and about a day or two later, I would get a call from one of Frederick Nichols' friend. Um, she told me that she told me she told me what Frederick Nichols told her, that that he thinks that I busted his windshield, and that the only reason why that deputy didn't take me to jail was because the jail was full, and so they didn't have enough room. So that was the only reason why they didn't take me to jail. And so when I started asking her more questions about, you know, what Frederick Nichols' plan was, whether or not he's going to press charges against me, that's when she stopped talking to me about him, and she started trying to take up for him. You know, after I told her that he was trying to he'd been coming by my property, staying with my with this tenant that I was trying to evict, and that now he wasn't welcome there, and she started trying to take up for him, saying that he had every right to be there. You know, so that's when I realized that some people can't be trusted anymore. People who I thought was my friend, or somebody who I could somewhat trust, can no longer be trusted. So I guess the reason why is because they're both from California originally. That woman and Frederick Nichols, the guy that had accused me of breaking his windshield off his truck, he's from California, and that woman's from California as well. So I guess they stick together. California people stick together against us Texans, you know. So I knew not to say anything else to her about what's been going on my end, or talk to her for that matter. So every time I would call her, you know, and ask, and Frederick Nichols get mentioned, she always take up for him. She can never, that he could do no wrong in her eyes, basically. You know, even when I was, even recently, you know, I had won a judgment against him, where he had broke the glass off my glass door, off the screen door of my property. He broke it while riding on his riding lawnmower, where the rocks started flying from underneath his riding lawnmower and hit the glass off the screen door and shattered it. So when I tried to tell her that, she didn't want to hear it. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself right now. But anyway, so when a deputy came out to try to question me, this was back in July of 2024, July 8th, and so I didn't hear anything else until October the 8th. So I guess that's about 3 months later. You know, deputies came back out to my house, and they told me that they had a warrant for my arrest, and so they arrested me right then and there, and took me to jail, basically. But I only spent 2 hours in jail. I got bonded out. The woman who had determined my bond, she was the same woman who I had who I had went to get the tenant evicted. She's also a small claims court judge. She's a small claims court judge, and I was surprised to see her because I realized that she's also a magistrate who determines people's bonds when they go to jail, and she set my bond at $2,500, which was pretty steep. Considering my charge. My charge was criminal mischief between I guess $1,000 and $2,500, which is a class A misdemeanor. And so anyway, I had to rely on my cousins and my aunt to pay $250 the bail bondsman because they couldn't take money off my account. They actually took the cash that I had in my pocket and put it on my commissary account, right then right when I went to jail. And so I didn't, and they would not, they didn't have I couldn't get access to my to money that was on my cards, which was in my wallet. And so I had to rely on outside people in order to pay their money, in order to pay my bond to get out. And when I got out, I paid everybody back. I paid my cousin and my aunt back off by getting money off my card. The cash that was in my pocket that they put on commissary, they wouldn't give it back to me right then and there. They told me I had to wait until they said I had to wait a few days. And so I wound up not getting my commissary funds back until the next week. So yeah, I guess they were trying to play hardball with me just because I wouldn't give them a confession. And so I was willing to play hardball with them by not giving them a conviction. But I was not going to plead out at all. And so from then on, I've been at that time I was working at the post office in Marshall, Texas. And so I tried to call up different attorneys, and none of them would return my call. And so I also called the DA's office to see if I can get access, if I could find out who had pressed charges, if anybody had pressed charges against me, because I didn't know who pressed charges against me. I didn't know if the state decided to press charges against me or was it Frederick Nichols. And so nobody in the DA office would tell me anything about my case. They said I had to get it. They would only talk to me through my attorney. And so I called different attorneys, and they wouldn't answer. They wouldn't return their phone calls. They wouldn't answer me back. So I just continued working to try to raise money for an attorney. And so during that time, the DA that was there, she was on her way out. She was no longer going to seek office next year, and a new DA was going to come in. So that's why she didn't really take take my case, as far as she didn't schedule a trial date so soon. So I wound up not getting a trial date. I continued working in October, November, and December without hearing anything. I was hoping that they would drop my case, since I hadn't heard anything. I had no trial date was set. And so when January came around, I had quit my job at the post office in Marshall because of one of the supervisors was trying to show off and get me to go faster in my work, which was grinding my gears. So I talked about that in my other video. So after I quit my job in the latter part of December, in early January, I got a letter which told me what my first court date would be. At that time, I didn't even have an attorney. I hadn't even got an attorney yet, because I was surprised, because I thought that they would have dropped my case by now, but apparently they didn't. And so they went ahead and scheduled my trial date a week from when I got that letter. And so I was kind of panicking, because I had quit my job a couple weeks before, and now they're trying to schedule. It seems like they're trying to get me at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not working. Then they'll try to, or maybe it's just a coincidence that since the new DA was coming in, he wanted to go ahead and get those cases that took place last year out of the way. And so in that letter, I noticed that my criminal mischief charge had been changed. It went from a Class A to a Class B misdemeanor. So it went from criminal mischief between $1,000 and $2,400 to like a Class B misdemeanor of criminalmanship between $100 and 1,000. No, $100 and $750. And so, with the Class B misdemeanor, I'll be facing a maximum of 6 months in jail, whereas with a Class A misdemeanor, I would have been facing a maximum of 12 months in jail. So, it was, I guess it was a little bit of progress there. So, I think that the new DA was trying to do things, the right way, because I was guessing that he had contacted Frederick Nichols to see how much he actually had to pay to get his windshield fixed. I guess Frederick was thinking that I would be my case would be done quickly, but I guess to his disappointment, it got dragged out, and so he ended up having to pay to get his windshield fixed, and he went the cheapest route, and so that's to where he had paid like $350. So that's probably why my case got reduced from a Class A to a Class B misdemeanor, since that new DA demanded Frederick Nichols to provide receipts of what he paid in damages to correctly adjust my charge. And so my first court date was in January. I think it was January I don't remember the exact date, but anyway, I think looking back, it was really a status hearing, and I had gotten to see the new prosecutor, the new DA. It took place, like, I think it took place after the 22nd, because that's when the new DA took office and the old DA had left. And so anyway, there I noticed that the prosecutors, the DA and the assistant DA, went to people who were sitting at the bench, including myself, and talking to them about seeing what type of deals they had on the table for them. And I noticed that a lot of people got probation. I wasn't willing to talk to the DA about and pleading out, and they didn't bother trying to talk to me as well. So, for whatever reason, and so at that status hearing, I was appointed an attorney, a public defender, because at that time I didn't have any income coming in. Besides, since I had quit my job at the post office, and so I was appointed a public defender, and he had told me to call him that afternoon, and I tried to call him that afternoon. He wouldn't answer his phone, and so it was getting frustrating for me. Everybody at the office, at that attorney's office, was telling me that they still hadn't gotten my case file for whatever reason. And so that's when I decided that I'm just going to get a private attorney. I'm not going to put my freedom in a public defender's hand. If this is how they're going to act towards my case, they're trying to say that they don't have my case files, even though that attorney had told me to call his office. And so that told me right there that public defender couldn't be trusted. And so I decided to start back looking for a private attorney. My cousin was willing to help me out. I didn't get no help from anybody else. I even asked a football player to help me with my legal case, and he refused to do so, even though he was getting millions of dollars in bonuses that I heard about last year. I think his name is Trent Williams, that football player. His aunt told me to follow him on social media. I told his aunt that I wasn't into football players or celebrities like that, and she kept insisting on me following him on social media. So it gave me an idea. Maybe I should ask him for help. and I'd be willing to follow him if he helps me out financially with my legal um, with my legal fees in getting a good attorney. And so I asked him, and you know, he wouldn't even say no to me. Actually, he would say he basically said that he's going to get his company to contact me in order to figure out how to manage my finances better. I took that as a no, as an insult. I told him that he didn't even have the balls to say no, and that's why he will never be the GOAT in his in his craft as a football player. He will never be the best of the best because of his inability to say no. He didn't have the balls to say no to me. I would have respected him a little bit more if he had said no to me, but he couldn't even do that. So I told him that he would never be the GOAT. You know, so that's when he blocked me on social media. But I still got copies of the of my interaction with him that I saved. I'll put it up on my page at some point. So basically, I got no other help. I had to take out loans in order to pay for an attorney, and my cousin helped me out with half of my legal bill, and I provide the other half through my loans that I took out. And so, and I also tried to set up a give send go, which is like a GoFundMe account, and I didn't get $1 from anyone to help with my legal fees. So I pretty much had to do most everything on my own with the help of my cousin. So basically, only one person helped me out, and that was my cousin. Shout out to her. She's like a sister to me. So anyway, I was able to retain an attorney and get him paid, and he had to pay him $1,500 in order for him to represent me. And so he went to my second status hearing, which took place in February, and that's when they requested more time for me to talk to my attorney about my case, because even at that point I didn't get a chance to look at my case files, and my attorney was trying to get access to the video, to the camera that the deputy had, as far as him coming out to my place that Frederick Nichols was at, and also coming out to my home to question me. And so afterwards, after my second status hearing in February, I was able to meet with my attorney in order to look over my case files and also the video. And that's where I realized that the cop that sheriff deputy basically lied to me. He said that witnesses had saw me break the windshield off Frederick Nichols' truck. But the thing is, he didn't even talk to any witnesses or people who claim to be witnesses. He only talked to Frederick Nichols and the tenant that was with him. And they both were gone. They both had just come from a family reunion when they both discovered that the truck windshield was smashed up. And so Frederick was the one who told me that I had a bet. And so that's when the deputy decided to come out to my home. He didn't stop anywhere else. He didn't stop at any neighbor's house or anything. He just went to my property where Frederick Nichols was at with my tenant, and then he came straight to my home to question me. That was it. That's when I realized right there that the attorney, that sheriff deputy lied to me, and the attorney explained to me that police and cops can lie to people in order to get a confession out of them, but we can't. But us civilians can't lie to cops, or we might be charged with perjury. And so this is the very same thing that Ken was telling me in his videos, that cops can lie to you, but you can't lie to cops. So yeah. So anyway, the after I looked through the video and also at my case file, my attorney told me that this case could go both ways. You know, they don't have any. There is a lot of reasonable doubt in my case. That even though I wasn't there to bust that guy's windshield, it's gonna be based on what the jury believes. They're gonna try to. It could go both ways, basically. You know, because they got my bat. They're gonna try to use that as evidence against me. So he basically told me that there was some circumstantial evidence that I most likely did it. You know, there wasn't any hard evidence. There were no witnesses. You know, just like that cop was saying that there was a witness, there was no witnesses. It was basically his word against my word, plus a baseball bat that they were trying to say that I used to bust that guy's windshield. Afterwards, my attorney told me that he was going to go and talk to the DA about getting my case dismissed. Because I told my attorney that I was not going to, under no circumstances, I was going to give them a conviction that I was going to plead out. And so that's when my attorney told me that he'll talk to the DA to see if they can get some kind of deal to where I don't get a conviction on my record. And so he went and talked to the DA, and the DA told him that he'd be willing to drop my case, to dismiss my case, if I paid the Frederick Nichols $350 for the damaged windshield. My attorney told me this. I said, you know, that's not bad. You know, I can do that. I just wanted to get my case over with, because I had gotten a job with the post office once again, and I didn't want to have to go back to court and take a gamble and take a chance of getting convicted, you know, by a jury based on circumstantial evidence, you know, even though there's a lot of reasonable doubt in my case. And you know, I mean, so you know, I saw the deal as more of a sure thing, where I don't get a conviction, I don't have to plead guilty. All I have to do is just pay the $350, and my case will be gone, be over with. But I had to do it before they scheduled my next court date. So I went ahead and rounded up $350. I took out another loan, basically, and I went ahead and paid the guy. I sent him a money order. Well, I gave it to my attorney to give to the DA, and the DA, I guess, sent it to Frederick Nichols. And just like that, in March of this year, my case got dropped. And I still got a letter that says so. That says my case got dismissed. So just in case any people got any doubts. So right now, I have no conviction here in Texas still. So I just wanted to share my story, just to sort of, you know, give people insights on what I went through dealing with people filing false charges against me, and to also encourage Ken's with what he's dealing with that guy filing a false charge against him, which was the same one as I got, which was criminal mischief. I just want to encourage Ken's to don't give in, don't plead out at all. Either they dismiss this case with no conviction, or fight this all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. Maintain your innocence. Don't plead out. Don't give them a conviction, because the system does not care about you or your dreams or your goals in life. Therefore, why should you care about giving them a conviction so that prosecutor can get another notch under their belt, and you're left with having another conviction on your record, having to struggle, and nobody cares either. So no, do not give them a conviction. Keep fighting. maintain, fight for your innocence. You know, don't let the judge, don't let the prosecutor intimidate you into pleading out. Fight for your innocence to the bitter end. They're gonna have to dismiss that case at some point. I know that it's a Commonwealth, and it's they try to I've dealt with the Commonwealth before in Virginia as well, and so I know they're crazy, but you just gotta stand firm. Keep fighting for your innocence. I have faith that you will prevail, Kens. So keep fighting. Never give up. Hopefully, by the time this video ended, at your in which you have your status hearing today, hopefully they dismiss your case. But if not, keep fighting. Take it to the box, just like you say. Always, only plead not guilty, because you are innocent, just like I was. So they're not going to get a conviction out of us. So, all right then. Well, I hope this helps. And as far as helping you out through Cash App, you know, I don't have any money to help out, because I'm still trying to recover from my own legal battle, where I had to take out loans in order to pay for an attorney and other legal fees and restitution and whatnot to pay. And so I'm just working hard at the post office in order to recover, to pay back those loans that I took out. So, you know, I'm not relying on any GoFundMe's or, you know, people giving me anything. I'm just having to earn everything. So I do apologize, Kens, but it's nothing I can do for you financially. But, you know, I just wanted to give you that encouragement to keep fighting. All right then. Well, like, subscribe, and share this video, and hopefully everything work out for you, Kens, just like it did for me. I'll talk to you later.